this goes back to how it will all fall apart if this proceeds to any kind of actual litigation, which gets me to the question of like, so what is all of this? Is this just a massive scare tactic to make me submit and be like, look, what do I need to do to make this go away? Can we just come to an agreement? Like, that is not happening. I've told her that a million times. I personally believe she has literally nothing here. And I've had a lot of people, in fact, when this all started, people finding out about the situation even before the lawsuit, before the even threats of the lawsuit. People were like confused about what the back and forth, what it even was. And when they found out, they were like confused more. They're like, no, there has to be something that you did to elicit that kind of response out of her to contact your wife. And I'm like, no, it really was just I retweeted somebody
No,
I
it
didn't
was
know she
not.
had an issue with. And then I took that down and she DM'd me. I didn't respond to her because she was unhinged. And then she searched my wife out and started DMing her. And I'm like, that's really what it came down to. They're like, no. There's got to be something else that happened because nobody would do that in their right mind. And I'm like, you're assuming that this person is in their right mind.
The right mind.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, here's the way that, and this is probably my own detriment and why my videos take so long, is that I'm actually sympathetic to Alyssa because I feel like, as far as I can see and with my research of what I've done, uh, I think that she probably feels very alone and very scared. And I think that she felt like, whether it was real or not, that she felt back to a corner and just went to kind of a shotgun option, which was suing you
I
when
would I would
everything
actually
went down.
disagree. I disagree with that. I think that she is getting gassed up surrounding herself by the wrong people. Patting her on the back, telling her that she's got a case here. Take him down. He's the bad guy. And she's like, yeah, I'll be the hero for my group and I will take
Yeah.
him down. I
Okay.
would argue it's not her feeling alone. But this is again,
No. Yeah.
this is the different perspectives that we have based off of the
Yeah.
information that we have. And it's interesting
No,
how
I
we
think
have
you're
two
absolutely
different.
right. I just no, but I just kind of missed out on that part because it is a combination. Because remember, I used to be quote unquote leftist, and the thing is, a lot about that quote unquote side is
Mhm.
joining the group, like being
Projection.
one. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit. But no, the thing is, I understand the mentality. But the thing is, I do know that it comes from a place of,
Mhm.
I feel alone. I'm scared. Where's my group? And then you go to your group and you ask them for advice, and they give you the worst goddamn advice possible. And the thing is, it probably wasn't only that. I mean, $75,000, a very specific number,
I
especially for a
think
lawsuit like this.
and I could be wrong about this because again, like I said at the beginning, I'm not a lawyer.
Speculation, speculation,
This is
speculation.
all, yeah, this is all our thoughts and opinion based off of a conversation that we have. This is what it is. But don't worry, because it still gets taken out of context anyways. But
I'll
I
be
have a
sued tomorrow
feeling,
anyways. Who knows?
right. But I feel like the $75,000 number has a significance of, I think I could be wrong, but I think if it's like 74,999 or under, it doesn't get categorized as the same type of filing. And they wanted to bump it into the higher echelon, but they also knew that this is not a massive case. So they're like, we'll go with what
Uh,
we can at the lowest amount to get it there.
to my knowledge, anything that's won in a lawsuit is actually tax free.
I believe that.
Yeah, I'm not even joking about that.
Right. But I'm saying
So
why they're asking for 75,000, I think.
Well, the thing is,
is
like,
that's the
and the thing
bigger
is, you've
model.
already done the math. Probably you and I mean, obviously, you can't tell us or the audience like some privileged conversation as much as one of those documents said. This was
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
I
about.
can state verifiably that the amount they said I made up to that point was so ridiculously, absurdly wrong
Yeah,
that I don't even know where to begin with that. I'm like, these people clearly think I make a lot more money than I do
they
doing.
no. The thing is, like, it's one of those things. Like, I think either the lawyers are dumb or don't do their research because okay side scrollers said this like the other day because they were talking to Kirsha about what tips could be in tax if especially if Trump gets rid of tips. What does that
Mhm.
mean for donations for YouTubers and all that jazz? um but Stuttering Craig did a really good breakdown. He goes, okay, if you give us $10, well, YouTube takes 70% takes 30% of that.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's $7. All right. Well, then the government takes, depending if you're an LLC or an independent contractor, if you have space, that's something that you know all about. But that can
Mhm.
be between, you know, 30 and 50%, depending
Mhm.
on what your situation is as a creator.
Yeah.
So that $10 could easily become four
Or less.
or less.
Mhm.
And that's what, and I think that when you have people that don't understand the space, that they don't
Mhm.
understand how YouTubers have to work, why like some like you is a daily creator, why you are a live streamer, why you make certain business decisions, why you make and the thing is that not all of them are business decisions. A lot of them are your audience responding in
Mhm.
certain ways of what they want from you. And there's some things you compromise on, there's some things that you don't, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you
That's
have to
fair.
it's a you play with the audience a little
It's
bit.
like steering a ship with people on it over a very turbulent sea. I
Yeah,
guess you could.
you're the captain of the ship, but then every single time you do something wrong, they'll just look at you and
Yep.
like read the room, and if
And
you don't
some
read the
people
room,
might
that
look
can
at me and
fuck
be
you.
like, "I'm out," and jump into the ocean.
Or well, for you, it's either it's probably a Monday, but
Right, right,
um
right. Or
but
Tuesday.
yeah, or a Tuesday, which is my most special day. Um, but no, like the thing is, like I don't think that these lawyers understand what a YouTube creator is because I don't think
I
Alyssa
no, I
understands that.
actually would argue, I bet they do understand, but they're playing dumb to try to make it look as bad as possible, which I think is,
That's not out of the question, nowhere near. Yeah,
mhm,
it's not out of the question. I mean, because I I had to remind someone today who was talking about this. Um, we have to remind ourselves that lawyers, their only job is to represent their client to the best of their ability.
mhm,
So when I look at Alyssa Mercante's lawyers, do I think that they're scummy? Yes. Do I think that they're unfair? Yes. But there's a lot of different aspects of being, and that, I had a stepdad as a lawyer, and he told me all about this. Sometimes you have uncooperative clients,
mhm.
and they will demand the weirdest fucking shit. And because they already put that deposit down, you're like, I will give my advice, but if you want to do this, that's your gravestone, buddy. And it could be that these are lawyers that are working pro bono, or there's a third party investor. But the thing is, she's the client.
Mhm.
She could be kind of the unreliable narrator at one point, and they just kiss the ground that she walks on. It also,
The more that this carries on, the more I feel like that they are not pro bono. But again, we don't know. We
we don't
don't,
know.
just to be clear, but the way it's being handled, I do feel like there is a high likelihood that there is someone in the background financing this. And I've actually had some communications with some people that have given me some insights to who that could be, where it would make sense. And
I
I'm
have
like,
some
"Hmm,
communications as well,
yeah,
sir. But
interesting."
we will not ever share that with each other.
Yeah, because that's not because it's all speculation at this point, and
Yep.
you don't wanna just start naming names like Alyssa does, because then you're no better than what she's doing. But
No,
anyway.
and see, here's the thing, like, amongst, at least, our inner circle and, like, people that actually really do care about the ethics of things, like,
Mhm,
we are very careful on what we share. Very careful. Like,
mhm,
Smash, I trust you.
mhm.
I'm not gonna give you, Alyssa Mercante's parents' information. Not if you paid me $1,000,000. That's a
Well,
lot of
first
my
off,
integrity, right?
I think you already know I don't want it.
Yeah, I know, right?
But
But the
yeah,
thing is,
but I
but
hear
that's
you.
not what but that's not the point. It's like,
Right.
you could pay me $1,000,000, you'd be like, "Nobody. I'll pay $1,000,000 for this, this, and this on Alyssa Mercante." No, not gonna give it to you. But
Mm,
thing is, I'm also and okay, and I'm just gonna be completely honest, because I'm gonna mention this in my video. Alyssa, I have the information on all your family members on Facebook, all of them. I will never DM them. I will never reveal them. I will never do anything because I actually do care about your security. I do care about your safety. I just, when I report on you, it's on the dumb shit you say and do. And that has nothing to do with your family. So I'm going to make that very clear. So when you doxed me, essentially, when you put me in this lawsuit, yeah, I'm upset. I'm angry about it.
mhm.
I'm not gonna
As
lie.
well you should be, by the way.
Oh yeah,
'Cause you
no,
have
I'm livid.
nothing to do with any of this. Just
No,
like, uh just like Hypnotic being dragged into
I
this,
just
and Rev
said the
says
words. I promoted my YouTube channel and I said words that she said. But what I'm saying is that Alyssa, I'm not gonna make the mistake that you do. I do not DM people's wives. I will not DM your family. I will not reveal any of them. I have found them. I know what they look like. I know where they work. I know their addresses. I'm not gonna do that. Just because I have the power doesn't mean I have the right to use it because I
Mhm.
have a moral line. I have an ethical line. But you don't understand that you crossed that line. And that's my piece on that. And the thing is, I actually do give a shit about your well-being, Alyssa. You just make it very, very difficult every single day.
Well, let's move on to the next part of
Yes,
this.
please.
Something that I wanted to point out specifically, that it kinda takes away from the focus on you. We'll come back to you, but something I wanted to.
Have a little bit of a cleanse here,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as a Jay Viper would say.
Yeah, exactly. Says one such subscriber only article is Alyssa Mercante's lawsuit scam exposed, the paywalled article, which many of my articles are paywalled for the first 2 to
Yeah.
3 hours until the video's out. Then I remove the paywall. So, I'm not sure where they're getting that
Yeah,
information.
because that's like a members thing. That's like,
Yeah,
okay, like,
it's
and
like an
every
early access to
YouTuber.
people that want the
Yeah.
story before anyone else. Like, yeah,
And
and
you
they're
can
like,
make
"Oh,
that
he's
time frame
monetizing it
any
for
time frame
$5
you
a month."
want.
But this is a lie, though. Like they're trying to give the impression that no one else can get this information unless you pay this money, and that's a grift. Which, by the way, before I even get to that, well, no, I'll go back to it in a second. But
No, there's not one Smash
LGBT,
JT article. And by the way, in one of the things that I'm using, I am using a Smash JT article, and it's there. I double checked it. I tried to cross reference everything. Yeah, no, completely free.
yeah,
So essentially, like if you subscribe to smashjt.com, you just get something a little earlier than most people. That's it.
yeah.
Like he
It's
can put
not
that.
much. It's not much of a benefit, but I want to give something to people that are supporting on it. Like, everyone gets it for free. I'm not trying to withhold information. That's not the whole point
Yeah,
of what I
and the thing
do.
is, you determine the day. Like if your audience demanded, like, hey, we would like a day's notice on new
Mhm.
content. and if there's a majority of it, like you would consider it, or you would adapt to it, or like. But that's not how the
Yeah.
internet works.
Yeah,
If
and the audience knows that. They understand news needs to get out there when it's hot off the press. You don't want to just sit
yeah,
on it. So, but
it's like
anyway, let
being
me
it's like being honest with your audience. Benefits you.
imagine that.
All right, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Let's
So
continue on.
yeah, this is the part that I thought was wild, and I think that this was in the original, but we're gonna go over it because it's in it now, anyways. I'm talking about Kotaku Detected. Spotlight the people behind Kotaku's content and hold them accountable for their actions, which is true. And I also need a place to remember because it got out of hand how many people were pushing political agendas and ideologies, and I couldn't remember all the people, all the writers doing it. So I started a page where I'm like, for my own sanity, to remember who these people were. And people were like, "Oh, this is helpful. I would like that. I would like to know more information." So I was like, "Okay, let me make like a yellow pages of the people with all the publicly available information from the websites that these people work at."
And
And
for
they,
people that don't understand what a yellow list is, think about it as a curation list
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Steam. Like the same thing.
And, and this is the part that blew my mind, where I'm like, again, how they're trying to twist everything into the worst possible narrative. Most of the individuals listed on Tarzia's and Kotaku page are women, people of color, non-binary individuals, people on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, and this one's great, and or Jewish people.
Did
I mean,
they
that's
wait? Are
literally
you okay? Like, look,
they. Oh, hold on. Let me finish real quick.
this is
That's
hilarious.
that's everyone. Well, like I guess they forgot white straight males, but as
So
far as I
apparently,
understand, there's plenty of white
JDA
straight
and
males
John
that are listed.
Trent, they're part of they're non-binary than LGBTQ.
Right. That's why I'm like, how the fuck would I know what they do when they close their door? That's not why I put them on there. I'm not trashing them because they're LGB. Like what? What? Like I
Wow.
read that, I'm like, talk about spinning a story in the wildest way, where it's just literally the information. Oh, it's majority, and then it names every basic demographic you could go by, except I guess white straight male. Which
Yeah,
again, there are white straight males on there too. They just don't want to list them
yeah.
there because then it would be everyone.
Guess what? It's not about who you sleep with or how you identify is that it's about your opinion sucking and
Yep.
us
Yep.
making opinions about you sucking so much ass of an opinion. Okay. Actually, you might did you ever type in cisgender on here yet?
Hold on one second. Jeremy Webb's gonna go. Jeremy, thank you so much again for all your
Jeremy
support
the
tonight, bro.
badass.
A badass, and stay safe, bro. Get home safe. Much love to you. Stay well, and thank you again for everything. I know Nameless is heading out too, so later, Nameless. Okay, type in what was it?
Just put in
Cisgender.
cisgender.
Is that CIS?
Yep.
Oh, we
There
got
it
one
is.
hit.
Yep, that's the one.
Plaintiff Alyssa Mercante is a cisgender bisexual woman.
What does that have
Who
anything to
the
do with
hell?
anything?
Who the
I
hell
wanted to make a
cares,
no one cares.
bro?
And everything to
Bro,
do
like,
with her opinions. It was opinions versus opinions. And they're like, you know what? The plaintiff, by the
I
way,
wait. I'm
she's a
aware of her
woman.
gender presentation and sexual orientation because he closely follows her online activities to aid him in monetizing his
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Yep, that's a
What?
change that I did see. Yep, that's a change I did see. I have to go through both again, but no, there were small changes outside of the ones that obviously I was going to focus on mine because never been in a lawsuit before. But no, they make these weird goddamn changes where you're like, huh?